Let's get after it. Do me a favor. Let me talk at you for a few minutes tonight, all right? Honest, straight talk about the state of play in the business. Looked at through the lens through me. I am not a hater, okay? It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me in my personal life. It doesn't work for me in my professional life. I get a lot of hate, but I try not to return it, and it doesn't stimulate me, okay? And it puts me at a disadvantage covering politics in a culture that is currently a hellscape of rage bait. That's what works. That's what gets rewarded, by the way. Get you clicks on my side, get you clicks, get you cash, get you written about, get you street cred. On the political side, it gets you rewarded. But it doesn't work if the goal is to focus on what matters to the many and what to do about it. That's what I'm about here, best I can. And that's why I don't buy into a lot of the trending stories, because I know they are a distraction. They're designed as that. And when I do take the bait, and of course I do, I try to spit it out as fast as I can, because I don't want to cash in on the division. I want things to get better in this country, just like you, just like most of us. The only people where you really have to question that are the people in power who seem more committed to retaining that power by any means necessary, no matter who gets hurt, no matter what doesn't get addressed. Look, just like with many of you, I have too many people I care about that I want to and try to help who are struggling. And I know the solutions aren't about the outrage of the moment. You know, instead of what the latest jab is from the president, the latest promise of what won't come to pass, let's talk about what is real, okay? We just got a new bunch of data on the economy. Just about all the major indicators for families economically are showing signs of distress. That's why you're getting pummeled with all kinds of hype, okay? Do you see those numbers? This administration does not want to talk about these numbers. That's why you write a tweet about how Barack Obama is dumb, the guy who was the editor of the Harvard Law Review. Half of us say food is difficult to afford in America. 9 in 10 have changed how they shop for groceries. 8 in 10 say they've had to cut back on going out to restaurants. The people in power have two choices confronted with this reality. They can either own it, as they promised to you during the campaign, and actually start doing something about it, or they can choose to deny reality and distract from it. Here's what those in power chose.
The fact of the matter is that all of the cylinders are kicking. It is good news. You can even feel in our environment how good things are getting. Gas prices continue to come down, which means that your groceries will come down a little bit as well. We've got a lot of good signs in the economy. We just need to continue to execute and have confidence in the choices the American people have made by making President Trump their president and keeping majorities, Republican majorities, in both the House and the Senate.
It's just hogwash. And the senator knows it. Gas prices are only getting better for the companies who are raising them. Prices have jumped another 7 cents overnight. It's 30 cents a gallon this week. Gas in literally every state is more expensive than it was a week ago. Not just California and New York, and there is a reason for that. Big blue states do tend to put more taxes on their gas, and the prices are even higher there. That's true. But two things can be true, right? Republicans like to point out the states, like the states are the problem. No, the underlying price is also the problem, and it's the main driver. In Indiana, not a blue state, there's been an 84-cent jump. Michigan, up for grabs, 72 cents. Ohio, ruby red, 60 cents. Illinois, blue, 39 cents. New Mexico, 37 cents. Gas is up. Food is up. Inflation is up. Tim Scott is wrong, and the senator knows it. He is choosing to parrot talking points over being straight with the people, unless He just wants to say the only indicator, the only metric that matters is Wall Street. But you know who used to say, anyone who says that Wall Street is the indicator of Main Street is BS. Donald John Trump told me that many times during the economic downturn in 2006, 7, 8. Now, I say this because I know he's parroting talking points. I know this is what he's being told to say to help the White House. Why? Because it is no coincidence that exactly what you heard from Senator Tim Scott, you also heard from the House Republican Majority Leader, Steve Scalise. Watch.
What we've delivered to finally start turning this mess around that we inherited a year and a half ago. People that will remember, you go back 2 years ago, we were paying almost $6 a gallon for gasoline. Right now it's in the threes.
When were we paying 6?
Still 50.
What,
well, two and a half years ago.
I don't think we were. That wasn't the average price.
If you look all across the board, we are lowering inflation. Interest rates have started to come down. Do you want to go back to the days where interest rates were in double digits, where inflation was 50% higher than it was today? So we're bringing things down so that we can make life more affordable.
Look, what they're banking on is that you're stupid. They're wrong about that too, though, aren't they? 2 years ago, gas prices were somewhere in the area of $3.70. Today, they're just a little bit over $4.30. I have tremendous respect for how Steve Scalise overcame gunshot wounds that were delivered by a political zealot. But that doesn't excuse him from adding to the extremism of toxic lies that are poisoning our politics. And that's what lies about the economy are, okay? This isn't, no, you're more corrupt. No, you're worse. No, you lie more. This battle to the bottom. That's the noise. That's the distraction. That's for the haters. When you lie about the U.S. economy, because that's the only thing you can do to people who are already desperate, is lie to their faces if you're not going to fix it, and tell them that their desperation is not real. But the desperation is all too real, and it's growing deeper and wider. They know it, you know it, I know it. They just lie about it. The savings rate is at a nearly 4-year low. Did you know that for every $100 that one of us earns, the average is that you're able to save about $3.60. And by the way, that person who can save $3.60 out of 100 is better off than the majority of families in this country, because less than half of our families can put together $1,000 for an emergency. And those fortunate enough to not be paycheck to paycheck, that's good fortune in America, by the way. That group who are not paycheck to paycheck are dipping into their savings to pay for everyday items, not too many toys. You see what I'm saying? Now, today, the president signed an executive order to expand access to retirement plans for about 50 million low and moderate income workers who, as employers, don't offer savings plans. That's good, okay? Remember, I'm a fair broker here. If I have a problem with something, I'll tell you. If I have a problem with someone, I'll tell you. And when something happens that is good for the majority in this country, that's a good thing. I don't want to see the country fail. I don't want to see bad things just so power can shift from one partisan group to another. So it is good that he signed it to give those workers more access to savings accounts. The problem is, it's an opportunity that too many can't afford. So it's like the administration is giving with one hand and taking with the other, but it turns out the hand that's taking is a lot bigger than the one that's giving. Right now, 3 in 4 Americans are using our credit cards to pay for everyday items, groceries, toiletries. Credit card debt has soared to $1.3 trillion, and it is climbing. The VIG on that money is not like your mortgage. It's anywhere from 10 to 24% or more. And we remember what happened. Do you remember when the president said, when this first started to happen because of the affordability crisis, he got ahead of it and he said, you know what, I'm going to take on these Fat interest rates. Remember? I'm going to get them to 10%. Remember? What happened to that? It lasted 2 days. The banks got their hackles up, made their phone calls, and the president never mentioned it again. This year, a third of us are skipping meals and cutting back on driving and using electricity to afford health care. In America, the beacon to the world of opportunity. Nearly half of us say we cannot pay an unexpected $500 medical bill. 4 in 10 are in medical debt. 4 in 10. 3 in 10 have had to skip doctor's visits because they can't afford them. 4 in 10 don't take their medicine as prescribed because the drugs are too expensive. The Republicans say everything's better than it was during Biden. Yet 8 in 10 of you say everything has gotten more expensive. And you're right. And nearly 9 in 10 Americans say we are in an affordability crisis. And guess what? I don't know where the one other guy is living. Look, the lawfare, the canceling, the mean tweets, everything that dominates social media, it's all rage bait to keep you distracted by design. And it works. It works for the Elons of the world who get paid off it, and it works for those in power who don't want to have to battle on ideas of what's better. But for those of us who love this country and love our families, the midterms will be about what we're focused on here, not those distractions, not on my watch. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.